somewhere in space. This may all be happening right now.
Professor Funk here, all upon y'all. Now, drugs are a big part of most people's weekend. And I don't just mean the hard, spooky stuff. Caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, they're all drugs. Chemicals that get inside your brain and change your behaviour in some way. Every drug, illegal or not, can kill you via an overdose. Because each drug has an individual effective dosage, which is the minimum amount you need to take to get a high. Now, this amount usually is very small. Take more of that dosage, and the effect gets stronger, until you get to the point where you've taken so much of the dosage that you're actually dead. Now, the difference between being drugged and dead is what's called your lethal toxicity. Some drugs have a high toxicity, and some don't. So the question today is, how well do you know your drugs, boy? So I thought I would investigate the question using science. That's right, I said science again. I went out onto the street and asked people if they could tell me which drug was the most toxic between alcohol, ecstasy, and cocaine. And here's how I done it. First, I took the 3 drugs in question: alcohol, ecstasy, and cocaine. Put them in a blender, zip them all together. To make a selection sheet, something where people could just point to which drug they thought was the most toxic. I took it out on the street, showed it to a bunch of people, asked them this question, they selected which one, and we created science! So I went out on the streets, asked 150 people this question, and here's what I found using the power of science! 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 So what you're seeing here are the figures for which drug people thought was most toxic. And this is in percentages out of the 150 people I tested. So out of these 3, which did you actually think was the most toxic? Would you go with the crowd and say cocaine? Or maybe even ecstasy? Well, if you did, you'd be joining the other 88% of people who got this question wrong. That's right, alcohol is the most toxic out of these 3 drugs. Because if you had just 10 times alcohol's effective dosage, you'd be dead. Basically, that's about 20 shots of 100 proof vodka. Cocaine will kill you after you've had about 15 times the effective dosage, while E rates in at 16 times its effective dosage before you're meeting the big DJ in the sky. Here are some other popular drugs and their lethal toxicity. Heroin, as you might guess, is highly toxic. You only need to take 6 times the effective dosage. Nicotine, everyone's favourite, you have to take 50 times the dosage. That's 50 cigarettes in a very short space of time. Caffeine, that's 100 times. That's about 100 cups of coffee. Take a lot of work. Pot, on the other hand, you'd probably die of lung cancer before you died of an overdose in marijuana. You'd need to take 1,000 or more times the effective dosage. Now I must stress that these can't be taken as actual dosage guides because dosage is influenced by many factors, but despite all that, it's still true that alcohol has a toxicity higher than most other drugs. Now it's surprising that people know so little about the toxicity of one of the most popular and accepted drugs. Now it's not common knowledge or one of the important things that you hear about, but every time that you buy a bottle of vodka, you could actually kill someone with that thing. One way is that you could get them to drink the whole thing in a very short space of time. Or you could make a vodka watermelon filled with squids that shoot lasers instead of ink and then give it to someone you don't like. Toxicity isn't the only important factor. There's a whole bunch of different things you need to take into consideration if and when you take drugs. I'm not here to say that one drug is better than another. For example, smoke weed because it's less toxic. That's just retarded. And I'm not here to tell you what to do either. Hell, you're gonna do whatever you do anyway, regardless of what a spiky-haired attention seeker tells you. But what I am trying to say is that it's important to know about the different risks involved in taking your drug of choice. Because when it comes to drugs, I just say no. That's K-N-O-W. You see, it's a kno, like, it's a play on words. It's pretty clever, I think. I'm Professor Funk. Till next time, party on. Science. Science. That's right, I said science again. Hey, what's up? It's me again. Just want to say that this video was brought to you as part of National Science Week, which is happening across Australia from August the 16th to the 24th. If you want to know more, hit up the website www.scienceweek.info.au. Check it